Let's be honest, most men will never truly understand what goes on in a woman's mind. Not because they're stupid, but because women rarely tell the full story. There's a hidden code, subtle gestures, and whispers behind smiles that are designed to test, tease, and sometimes confuse. And if you don't see it, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes, wondering why the connection you crave seems just out of reach. Here's the first secret. Women judge much more than you think. Not only your actions, but your energy, your tone, even the way you move through a room. You could say the right words, do the right things, but if your inner energy doesn't signal confidence, curiosity, and calm dominance, she will sense it immediately. Women have an instinct, a radar that can pick up on subtle insecurity in seconds. This isn't about arrogance or ego, it's about your ability to be grounded in yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. A woman doesn't fall for words alone. She falls for the presence behind them. The second hidden truth. Emotional connection isn't what she says she wants. It's what she needs, often without knowing it herself. You may hear her talk about wanting someone fun, spontaneous, or adventurous, but what really ignites her is feeling understood, seen, and safe in your presence. Emotional intelligence beats physical appearance almost every time, yet most men focus only on surface-level attraction. If you can learn to read the subtle cues, how she leans, the micro smile she gives when you say something meaningful, the way her eyes search for acknowledgement, you start playing the game on a level few ever reach. Third, women test boundaries constantly, sometimes subtly, sometimes blatantly. They aren't cruel. They're evaluating whether you're someone worth their time, energy, and heart. Every small decision, every reaction from you feeds into an internal equation she's running without saying a word. When she pushes, it's not to hurt you, it's to measure your response. Will you retreat in fear? Will you over-explain? Or will you hold your ground with calm certainty? Your reaction in these moments shapes how she perceives your value far more than anything else. And here's a reality few men ever fully accept. Attraction is not fair, and it's rarely logical. Women's attraction can shift based on tiny, almost invisible changes in how you behave, your level of self-respect, or even the stories you carry silently about yourself. They're drawn to the man who doesn't chase validation, but radiates integrity. To understand this isn't about tricking her. It's about mastering yourself first, becoming the version of you who naturally commands attention, respect, and desire. Finally, recognize this. Most men underestimate how much women communicate without words. A glance, a tilt of the head, the way she touches her hair, these are all loaded signals. And the men who notice, interpret, and respond appropriately become rare, magnetic, and irresistible. You don't have to manipulate or lie. You only need to observe deeply, respond wisely, and align your actions with the energy you want to project. By understanding these hidden layers, you stop guessing and start seeing the truth. Women are complex, but the patterns aren't random. They are predictable if you know what to watch for. If you miss these signals, you'll stay frustrated, confused, and stuck in the friend zone or worse, never fully connecting with the women who genuinely intrigue you. The second secret women never tell men is far more dangerous than most realize. It's not about what she says, it's about what she doesn't say. Silence, hesitation, even subtle avoidance, they're not random. They are signals, carefully calibrated to see if you're truly paying attention. Most men panic when they encounter these pauses, overcompensate, or try to force clarity. That's exactly what she's watching for. She doesn't need answers from you. She needs proof that you can handle uncertainty with calm and control. Here's the truth. Women are attracted to emotional stability more than anything else. That's why a man who loses his cool over minor disagreements, jealousy, or insecurities instantly becomes less appealing. She's scanning for a partner who can carry weight, who can stay grounded while the world shifts around him. And if you react impulsively, she notices. If you over-explain your feelings, she notices. Even if you think she's oblivious, her mind catalogues every micro-behavior like an internal ledger. The third hidden layer is far subtler. Women measure long-term potential by observing your social interactions. How do you treat waiters, strangers, or friends when there's no gain? Do you act differently when she's watching, or are you consistent in character? Women may not articulate it, but they are constantly calculating, could this man handle my life's chaos, or will he crumble? Your everyday actions, the way you navigate minor stresses, and even your digital presence reveal more than words ever could. And here's a secret few men ever truly understand. Attraction is not a static state. It's fluid, responsive, and deeply psychological. She will naturally test boundaries, not out of malice, but as an internal filter. She wants to know if you'll rise to the occasion, if you can hold your frame, and if you can deliver calm assurance when she feels uncertainty. The men who fail these subtle tests are discarded silently. No drama, no confrontation, just a quiet withdrawal of interest. The men who pass, however, are rewarded with deeper connection, trust, and desire that feels almost magnetic. Let's address the next hidden truth. Women crave validation differently than men assume. They're not always asking for compliments. They're seeking acknowledgement, recognition of effort, respect for boundaries, and understanding without interrogation. Over time, a man who consistently offers this validation, without begging, over-explaining, or performing, becomes irresistible. He embodies the rare combination of strength and empathy, and that is magnetic in ways most men will never achieve by trying to impress or win her. Finally, understand this. Women's minds are multi-layered, and attraction works like a high-level algorithm. She weighs interest against respect, fun against stability, desire against security, and she does this instinctively, unconsciously, often without saying a word. If you learn to recognize these patterns, you stop chasing illusions. You begin to navigate the invisible rules of attraction, using awareness and strategy, not manipulation, to draw her naturally toward you. Mastering this secret isn't about controlling her. It's about mastering yourself, your presence, and your emotional responses. That's the difference between men who remain frustrated, confused, and overlooked, and men who inspire desire, respect, and genuine connection. The third secret women never tell men is the one that can change everything if you truly understand it. Women are drawn not just to who you are, but to how you make them feel about themselves. Every word, every touch, every glance, these are not random. They are tools that either elevate her, excite her, or subtly disengage her. Most men fail because they focus on impressing her instead of understanding the emotional currents she's sending. They chase validation rather than creating an experience that resonates on a deeper psychological level. Here's the reality. Women often test your value by observing your reactions to their mood fluctuations. When she's playful, teasing, or even slightly distant, it's not a trap, it's an invitation. How you respond defines her attraction. Do you mirror her energy? Do you rise above confusion and maintain calm confidence? Or do you crumble, overanalyze, and beg for clarity? Your emotional stability in these moments becomes the anchor she unconsciously seeks. If you master this, she will begin to rely on your presence, crave your energy, and without realizing it, desire the connection you offer. The fourth hidden layer is more subtle. Women communicate more through energy than through words. You can hear every syllable she speaks, but if you fail to notice the signals in tone, body language, and micro-expressions, you'll remain blind to her true feelings. The men who decode these unspoken cues gain an almost unfair advantage. A tilt of the head, a lingering gaze, a slight touch on her neck, these are not accidents. They are invitations to connect, and only men who are emotionally attuned can recognize and respond to them effectively. Now let's expose the next truth. Women are attracted to unpredictability, but not chaos. They crave mystery that is rooted in confidence and self-possession. Too much predictability makes you boring. Too much unpredictability makes you unsafe. The men who balance this equation, steady in presence, playful in action, confident in choices, trigger deep psychological attraction. She may never articulate why, but she will feel it magnetically. And the deeper she feels it, the more she invests in the emotional energy you create. Here's another secret. Most men misunderstand intimacy entirely. Women do not connect on physical attraction alone. Intimacy begins with emotional resonance, trust, and validation. When she shares a vulnerability, your reaction either reinforces her openness or shuts her down. A man who responds with judgment, distraction, or detachment destroys attraction instantly. A man who responds with understanding, calm, and subtle reassurance elevates the connection beyond anything she imagined. This is why the most attractive men are often not the flashiest. They are the ones who navigate emotional landscapes with subtle mastery. Finally, understand this. Women's attraction is a mirror of your internal state. If you are insecure, reactive, or desperate, she will sense it immediately. If you are grounded, confident, and intentional, she will mirror desire back to you. It's not magic. It's psychological resonance. By mastering this secret, you stop guessing at signals and start guiding the interaction with presence, awareness, and subtle power. This is the difference between fleeting attention and lasting emotional influence. The fourth secret women never tell men is the one that separates average relationships from magnetic, unforgettable connections. Women are not just evaluating what you say or what you do, they are constantly measuring your confidence under pressure. Every challenge, every disagreement, every unexpected twist in life is a test she watches silently. Most men fail this test without even realizing it. They panic, overreact, or try to please. That's the exact opposite of what creates attraction. Here's the truth. Women are drawn to men who remain unshakable in the face of uncertainty. It's not arrogance, it's self-possession. When she argues, doubts, or subtly tests you, your response tells her more than words ever could. Will you lose control and create tension, or will you respond with calm, measured confidence? Your ability to stay composed while maintaining your boundaries is magnetic. It signals strength, stability, and emotional maturity, the foundation of long-term attraction. The fifth hidden layer is often invisible to men. Women observe how you handle scarcity versus abundance. Scarcity is panic, desperation, and neediness. Abundance is calm, confidence, and independence. When you operate from scarcity, she feels pressure and attraction diminishes. When you operate from abundance, you radiate value without saying a word. Every subtle cue, from the way you text to how you manage your time, communicates either scarcity or abundance. Most men miss this entirely, yet it is one of the most powerful psychological triggers for desire. Next, understand that women are influenced more by behavioral consistency than by grand gestures. A man who is consistently reliable, emotionally stable, and intentional becomes profoundly attractive. Big shows of attention or sporadic displays of charm can excite temporarily, but they don't build trust. Women crave a partner whose behavior over time signals that he is dependable, self-aware, and aligned with his values. Subtle, consistent actions speak louder than any declaration of intent. Here's another truth. Women are testing your ability to prioritize without compromise. Not every request, not every demand, not every mood needs to dominate your life. She's observing whether you maintain your purpose, your focus, and your boundaries. A man who bends too easily becomes predictable and loses appeal. A man who maintains his standards while still showing care and understanding inspires deeper respect and unconscious attraction. Finally, you need to recognize that emotional intensity is a tool, not a trap. Women are drawn to men who can create depth, excitement, and intrigue without creating chaos or insecurity. The subtle balance between mystery and reliability, excitement and stability, desire and respect, that is what ignites attraction at a profound level. Most men never master this, and that is why they remain stuck in cycles of frustration. But the men who do understand this secret, who integrate awareness, presence, and emotional control, become rare, magnetic, and unforgettable. Understanding this secret isn't about manipulation. It's about cultivating self-mastery, awareness, and emotional intelligence. When you embody these qualities, women respond naturally. You stop chasing. You start being the man they unconsciously desire. The fifth secret women never tell men is perhaps the most misunderstood because it doesn't rely on charm, looks, or smooth lines. It's about perceived value and how subtly it dictates attraction. Women are constantly assessing your social, emotional, and psychological worth, often without realizing it themselves. Every conversation, every interaction, even your digital presence, feeds into this invisible equation. Most men ignore it entirely, and that's why they remain invisible, frustrated, or trapped in superficial dynamics. Here's the truth. Perceived value is about more than status, money, or power. It's about the way you carry yourself, the consistency of your principles, and the energy you radiate. A man who is calm, self-assured, and purpose-driven communicates value without speaking a word. He isn't trying to impress or compete, he simply exists in a way that signals confidence, abundance, and capability. And women are hardwired to recognize this. They may not articulate it, but attraction is often formed in seconds based on these subtle cues. Another hidden layer: women unconsciously test your reaction to challenges, rejection, and minor discomforts. How you respond to tension reveals whether you are secure enough to be a partner or unstable enough to drain energy. React impulsively, and you signal insecurity. Respond with calm, intelligent boundaries, and you signal unshakable confidence. These micro-reactions, repeated over time, build an internal story in her mind about your worth, and that story often determines whether she desires deeper connection. Now, here's a secret few men fully grasp. Women are drawn to men who inspire emotional resonance, not dependence. They want to feel excitement, curiosity, and intrigue, but they also crave stability, safety, and reliability. The balance between these forces, being mysterious yet predictable, passionate yet grounded, is what creates powerful attraction. Most men lean too far into one side, either becoming erratic thrill seekers or overly stable and boring. The rare man who masters both becomes magnetic. Another layer of female psychology is subtle yet devastating if ignored. Women are drawn to men who have a life outside of them. Independence isn't just attractive, it's essential. A man who chases validation, availability, or constant attention becomes less desirable. A man who pursues his own goals, maintains his standards, and creates a life filled with purpose naturally draws her attention. She wants to be a part of your world, not the center of it. Finally, understand this. Attraction is both emotional and psychological, and it is driven more by your internal state than by anything external. Women respond to how you feel about yourself more than anything else. A man who is secure, aware, intentional, and confident radiates a magnetic energy that is impossible to ignore. Those who fail to embody this internal mastery will remain frustrated, chasing connection, and wondering why women never commit or respond. But the men who master this secret, who understand perceived value, emotional resonance, and internal stability, unlock a level of attraction that is almost effortless. This isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming the man whose presence naturally creates desire, respect, and deep psychological connection. It's about being rare, unshakable, and profoundly magnetic. The sixth secret women never tell men is the one that defines long-term connection and desire. Attraction isn't just sparked by chemistry or casual charm, it's created through psychological alignment. Women are constantly scanning for men whose internal state matches the life they want, even if they can't articulate it. They look for balance, confidence without arrogance, passion without volatility, attention without neediness. Most men miss this entirely, chasing fleeting attention instead of building a presence that naturally draws her in. Here's the truth few men ever fully grasp. Women respond to the emotional ecosystem you create. Every word, every pause, every reaction contributes to an invisible climate of attraction. Are you tense, reactive, or desperate? She notices. Are you calm, playful, and intentional? She notices. Attraction is never just physical. It's a deep subconscious evaluation of how your presence affects her state of mind. The men who master this become almost irresistible without trying, while the men who don't remain invisible despite effort. The next hidden layer is subtle but powerful. Women assess how you handle emotional risk. Sharing feelings, showing vulnerability, and maintaining boundaries simultaneously creates trust and intrigue. A man who can express himself without losing composure signals safety, maturity, and value. Conversely, a man who hides, overreacts, or ignores emotions signals insecurity and unpredictability. Women are wired to detect these patterns instantly, and these micro decisions dictate whether she invests her time, energy, and desire in you or withdraws silently. Another secret: women are drawn to men who embody direction and purpose. It's not about wealth or status, it's about clarity of intention. A man who knows what he wants, works toward it consistently, and maintains standards commands subconscious respect and attraction. She feels his presence as stable, yet exciting, a combination most men never achieve. That's why men who live with vision and self-mastery create natural magnetic pull without needing to impress or perform. Finally, understand the most overlooked truth. Attraction is reciprocal energy, not a one-way chase. She mirrors your confidence, your emotional stability, and your internal state. The stronger your self-mastery, the more deeply she is drawn to you. Every subtle choice, from maintaining your frame during tension to responding thoughtfully to her signals to balancing challenge and reassurance, intensifies desire on a level that words cannot capture. Now here's something to make you think. Imagine the equation of attraction as confidence plus awareness plus emotional mastery equals magnetic presence. If you truly understand and implement this equation in your daily interactions, women respond naturally, and relationships shift from superficial to profoundly connected. So here's the challenge. Calculate your own magnetism score based on how well you embody confidence, awareness, and emotional mastery. Write your answer in the comments below. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear these truths. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because understanding these secrets is the first step to changing the way women see you and the way you see yourself.